All right, so good morning, and you are welcome to the last aspect of case study, where we are going to learn how to analyze a case. So this one is called strategy in action, and that is part three of our strategic case study that we've been doing. So we are concluding, and this is also how you analyze a case. All right, so um, evaluation of strategy becomes the first. And when we say strategy in action, what we are saying is that we are assessing the performance of a strategic option and evaluating our alternative. So that is what you'll be doing in the exams. This is about assessing the performance of the strategic option, and you evaluate your alternatives. All right. So that is what we are going to do. So this part has five things we will do, but the main one is the first one that we will be looking at. So number one, we'll be looking at evaluation of strategies. What do we do here? Here, what we are doing is that we are going to assess performance, and after we have done that, the performance, we have financial and non-financial. So we are wrapping up, and we will do a criteria to assess alternative, which I call the safe alternative. Safe alternative. So this thing is called safe evaluation. Suitability, acceptability, and feasibility evaluation. So suitability, acceptability, feasibility evaluation. So that is what we are going to do. Then we will start developing process of strategy development. We will start developing strategy. And this is what we have done already. We are just summarizing everything up. Then we will learn. So we have the strategy as a plan, all right, as a deliberate plan or strategy that emerge. So as deliberate plan, and strategy that emerge via experience. So maybe an emergency happened, you have to develop a strategy for it. All right. So basically, that is what that part is. Then we look at organizing. Organizing is more of alignment between strategy and the organizational structure. Alignment between the strategy you have developed and your organizational structure. So that is that. The last two deals with what we call leadership. So here we are looking at the role of leadership in aligning the thing and your org structure. So we're looking at the management styles. The role of leadership in managing change. Then the last one is the practice. Who is involved in strategy? And what is the strategy? What does the strategist do? Who is involved? What do they do? And how they work? Is that okay? So this is the last phase, and these are the process you go through in the exams in uh, actually doing your case study. So if you get a paper, then first thing you do is to evaluate the current situation of a business. Evaluate the current situation of a business. So the first thing you do in the exams is evaluation of strategy. I've already told you that when you are evaluating um, a business, first know the type of business, the formation, the business organization. What is it? Is it private, public? Is it listed? All right, those kind of things you need to know. So here, the first thing we are going to do in the exams, and I'll practicalize it using a pre-scene in another video. Evaluation of strategy. Evaluation of strategy. I support Liverpool, and in 2015, if you remember, when we won the Champions League, that was 2005, when we won the Champions League. Liverpool was sponsored by Carlsberg, our jersey, Carlsberg. Back in 2015, 10 years later, all right, what happened is that they changed CEO. They changed CEO from Jogging Boo, the CEO. They changed him to a person called Sihat. Sihat. Now, when Sihat came, these are the things that happened. There was revenue growth. There was revenue growth. All of a sudden, it started declining. Declining profits started happening. Not only that, they started losing market share. Because even as at 2015, Nike, New Balance took over, right? So the Liverpool sponsoring was done. How will you survive when you are not supporting Liverpool again? That's the problem. So all those things started happening, poor performance. So what happened is that Sihat had two decisions to make. Decision one was to cut costs amid external pressure. All right, the Russia downturn. All right, he one decision was he had to make was to cut costs. The second was to also to pursue expansion. High growth market share was the target now. All right. Now the question here is that what level of performance should they aim at? So that's the question. There has to be a target. So what level of performance? What is the performance target? Should they aim at? All right. And how should any strategy option that they do should how should they be evaluated? How should they evaluate their strategic option? So that is that. So this is what we are meant to do. So you read the case, you see the case, the thing is starting from a position, right? Starting from one position. Then they are going to adapt a strategy. So how are they going to go about it? That is the essence of your case study. So the key issues are what the use of economic and non-economic performance measures. All right, the importance of the benchmark, the comparators, and the role of gap analysis. So that is what we are going to do. Basically, that is it. So this is what we are going to do. This is basically what we are going to. So if you see the diagram here, when you are evaluating strategy, when you get the case, right? First thing you must do is to assess the performance of the business. So this is basically what you see. So in here, I have assess performance. And when you are assessing the performance, you assess the economic performance, and organizational effectiveness. And we are going to use models for that. All right. Then we will do what we call gap analysis. You identify gaps analysis. Then you evaluate our options under the lens of the SAF or safe evaluation. So we will evaluate options that we have to solve the gap. And the options we have: one, suitability; two, acceptability; and three, we have feasibility. So the safe evaluation. So this is what we are going to do, and this is how you approach your case study. So when you get a question and you read it, the first thing you need to do, number one, is evaluation of performance. In the exams, that's the first thing you need to do. First thing you need to do, you are going to evaluate performance, the organizational performance. And how do you think we do evaluation of an organizational performance? We have so many things you do. Number one is you evaluate the economic performance. You use financial outcomes. So you can use one, financial outcomes. So you are going to evaluate the finance of the person. That's what we are going to do. We are going to evaluate the key financial performance of the person. All right. And that part is also called the economic performance. So that is what we are going to do. So the performance, that is it. Then we also measure the effectiveness. All right. So as I've shown you here, this is the evaluation, the economic performance and the organizational effectiveness. Now, the performance, when you are analyzing the performance, you use financial outcomes. So you can use the finance. Two, you can also use, and the financial outcomes, we call it the accounting measures. The accounting measures. So that is what we are doing. So you use ratios. Ratios. All right, ratios. Or you do the three key call it the 3 key R analysis, and I will show you how we go about that. Then we have non-financial outcomes. The non-financial outcomes. So here it's about KPIs. And lastly, we have what we call so the non-financial outcomes, we have the product market performance, all right, how the market is doing. This one, KPIs, product to market performance, what you are doing, non-financial. And lastly, we have the financial market measures. All right. Okay, so these are the economic evaluations that you are going to make. All right. You are going to make. Now, here you will have to go and watch my video of evaluation of financial statements. That is your ratios, how to do ratio analysis. So that part, we won't be doing it here. All right. So what we have actually done is to analyze economic performance. And when we are doing the economic performance, we are broadly using the financials and non-financials. So those are the issues. That is one. Again, we will go ahead to actually use another method of evaluating the performance, and that will be benchmarking. Benchmarking the KPIs. So we will learn benchmarking. All right. We will learn benchmarking. Then from there, we go to an organizational effectiveness, this part. All right. Okay. So why don't we start with the financial and the non-financial, because you have to evaluate it. And please, because this is pure theoretical aspect I'm doing, if you want to learn how to do ratios, I think by this time you should learn how to do your ratios. All right. So when you pick a question, you have the financial statement or anything, you should be able to go ahead and do the ratios. Okay. So this is what I would do. I will go straight because financial analysis is more of the ratios. I will skip that one because I know you will watch the video on the ratios. Go to my corporate reporting channel playlist and find how to be analyze the ratios, because I'm not going to start giving Rossi formula and all those things. No. All right. So you have to go there. But what I want to focus on is to start talking about the benchmarking. All right. Now, what is benchmarking? Benchmarking is simply a systematic analysis. All right. So you are doing a systematic analysis of um, what an organization needs to get to. It's like setting a target and where they are. So you do that and you identify gaps, all right? Then you sort it out. Now, already I've told you that the two things you are doing is assess the economic performance, right? And another thing is to assess the effectiveness. All right, effectiveness. So we will look at the effectiveness assessment, all right, also. So where we will use the triple bottom line analysis, okay. So we will use that one. Not only the triple bottom line analysis, we will use balance scorecard to assess how efficient an organization is. So basically that you can even use the benchmarking as well to do find out how efficient an organization is, because what benchmarking does is that it makes you do a systematic comparison with where organization aim to be their target. So you want to be here, but you are here. So this is what you compare yourself to know what to do. All right. That is basically it. So all I need to show you is the types of benchmarking, all right, for us to discuss. Um, so let's discuss the types of benchmarking. The types of benchmarking. Now, the types of benchmarking, we have basically four types of benchmarking. The types. All right. The first one is internal benchmarking. Internal benchmarking. So what is the internal benchmarking all about? You will check your past performance and your performance over time. So you will check performances over time. And when you are doing the performances over time, you will see that there is one particular year you did so well. All right. So you will pick that one particular year you did so well as a standard of what you are supposed to meet. And we call that internal benchmarking. But you see, the thing is that it's a past performance, and you are going to use it as a yardstick to measure active activities that are going to be going by. So it still puts you like the good old days. Yeah, so that kind of thing. But it is what internal benchmarking is. So you measure performances over time and you select the best out of those performances and you assume that that is where you should be. All right. Then we have what we call competitive or industry benchmarking. So this time round, you are using what your competitors are doing. All right. The people you are in the same industry with, you are looking at what they are doing and kind of do reverse engineering. So they become your standard. All right. They become your standard. But they are centralized locally. So they become your standard of where you want to get to. So we call that one competitive or industry benchmarking. Then we have functional activity. Now, the functional activity compares, that's a comparison between the functional part of your industry. So, sales department of your industry versus the sales department of a competitor. You are not using the entire organization. You are doing it on the functional level basis. All right, that is what that benchmarking seeks to do. Then lastly, we have what we call generic benchmarking. Now, what is generic benchmarking? Generic benchmarking compares the similar process, all right, when there is a direct kind of target existing. So sometimes even with unrelated uh, activities. So you are comparing the performance of, let's say, um, real estate to bankers. To bankers. That is what you are doing. They are unrelated, but you are just comparing yourselves together. All right. So basically that is that. So when you take so sometimes the benchmarking involves financing, the financial part. So when you take how to measure the economic performance, so that is what you are going to do. That's what you are going to do. You are going to use the financial outcomes, which I say you are going to use the ratios. You check the product that they are doing versus the market. What is their market share? You will check that. All right. You will check that. And that is coming via KPIs or your KPIs. Then you also check your financial market. That is one way you can assess the person's economic performance. Number two, you can also use benchmarking to assess their performance. Benchmarking, internal, competitive, functional, generic. All right, you can check. Okay, then step two is to assess the economic performance, the effectiveness, sorry, of the business. All right. So that is that. How effective is are they performing? So the organizational effectiveness, we can assess our effectiveness, internal efficiency, and also the stakeholder related delivery. How efficient are we in the eyes of our stakeholders? All right. So here, in doing this effectiveness measurement of the existing or the current situation of a business, what you are going to do is you can use what we call the balance scorecard. Balance scorecard. You can use the balance scorecard. Now, you can also use the triple bottom line. Triple bottom line. All these things covers the entire concept of your internal performance and also in your relation to the stakeholders. Then number three, you can use the bridge performance matrix. All right. Performance excellence measures or model. So these are the three things you can use to do the analysis. First, you do the financial part where you are doing ratios, product, market, sales growth, and all those things. Then second, you do the effectiveness of the business. And these are the ones that you can. So when you pick the balance scorecard, this is what goes into a balance scorecard. My line is crooked. A balance scorecard analyzing four phases. One, it's analyzing the things from customer perspective. So you set up your customer perspective analysis. Customers read the case. Customers need satisfaction. Are they satisfied? Customers need quality. As a matter of fact, they need value for money. That is what customers need. Also, assess your financial perspective of things. Your financial perspective, check your profitability. Are you being profitable? Check shareholder wealth. We are back again on this thing, right? All right. Check your internal businesses, your internal business processes. Do you have what we call production efficiency or there are breakdowns? So check the internal efficiency, how technology can help improve that. Then innovation, your innovation perspective. All right. This one, is the new product lines you can do. So you need R&D. All right. So this is the balance scorecard. You group your whole thing into 4 and you analyze where you are in various concepts. Then you try to improve on them. All right. So that is that. That is that. So if you check, this is external. This is to serve external, but these are internal. All right. You assess internal. All right. Then 2, the triple bottom line, TPL, is all about the concept of C to C. So where are you in terms of your social, staffing, welfare, all right, training, and all those things. E is economic. This is social. Economic. Economic is about your profits, shareholder wealth, sales maximization, all right. So you can use this model just like the balance scorecard. Then E is environment. Environment. And when we talk about environment, we are talking about regulatory issues, clean environment and everything. All right. So that is that. Then you can also use the batch rate to analyze it. The batch rate, the acronym I have for you is low MSC results. I call it low MSC results. So that's the acronym you can use to remember the things in the batch rate model. So low MSC model is to analyze the effectiveness, check leadership commitment to ethics, communication properly, and responsibility. So how do they communicate? Do they accept responsibility? What is their commitment? O means operations. Do they have staff breakdown, machine breakdown? All right, the effectiveness of the organization. W means workforce. Are they training them? Recruitment, training, and appraiser. Recruitment, training, and appraiser. M is the measurement, analytics, and knowledge management. Measurement analysis and knowledge management. What is that thing about? So how do you establish your KPIs? How do you collect data, analyze stuff? Then we have S here is strategy. What do you want to do? Your options. C is customers. Are they satisfied? Then R is results. Results. How do you measure performance? Performance measurement. And performance measurement is something that we will be looking at EVA calculation, ROE calculations and stuff. So that is it. That is the thing. So when we have finished doing all these things in the case, all right, then what we will do is to evaluate the new initiative. So currently, what are they? What is their strategic position? That thing that we do in terms of environment and everything. So you will do that. Then you assess their new options, their new alternative. All right. So evaluate the new initiatives that they want to do. And that is where we use this safe. All right. the suitability, acceptability, and feasibility. So when they are doing a new thing, what is it? Suitability. Suitability. So here we are looking at your proposed strategy that you want to do, all right, and see if it addresses your opportunities and threats, all right. So that is that. The basic idea is that whatever you want to do, so suitability, so you do the gap analysis and you know what to do, all right. So now we measure suitability. We measure suitability. The new project that you want to do, or the new strategy that you have to add, you want to adapt, how does that become suitable in terms of how does it address opportunity? So does it exploit available opportunities? Exploitation of opportunities, and also avoid threats. You can see where this thing is going, right? And does it capitalize on your strengths? Your strengths, and remedy your weakness? All that we are doing is taking you back. So is the new thing they are going to do, is it suitable? If it is suitable, you are going to analyze it in the lens of what we have done so far, SWOT analysis. What again? Pestel analysis. What again? Five forces. What again? Potter's diamond. Remember this. So when you finish determining their position using the ratios and everything and all those things we talked about and their efficiency, then you do your lecture 1 to 9. What we've done, we did under lecture 1 to 9. So that is what you do in terms of determining whether the project or the options that they are going to take is suitable in the case. Have you seen how the thing is going now? So we practicalize that using the pre-seen for July exam, July 2025 exam. So that is that. All right. So that is that. So look at it. So does the proposal address key opportunities that you face? This thing might be looking small on your screen, right? It must be looking small on your screen. So this is it. The proposal you want to pursue, does it address your key opportunities and threats? Now, then from there, we come to acceptability. So from suitability, we come to acceptability. And that is where work is. Most of the work will be done. Acceptability. We use the 3 R's to check the acceptability, the 3 key R's. Number 1 is the risk. So you'll be doing risk means standard deviation. And the risk sometimes involve, risk management, foreign exchange risk, interest rate risk, and all those things. So what you do in risk is that we do financial risk management. So that is that. Sensitivity analysis. You know all these things from man accounting, then break-even analysis. So are you ready to be doing these things? Because these things come from man accounting, financial risk. So that is that. So check the Telegram. I've done financial analysis. You have sensitivity analysis too, and break-even analysis on the Telegram. That is those who are in class. Then number 2, you'll be looking at your return. Your return. Return is the mean, the average. Now, here in assessing the return, what are we going to do? We are going to use what we call the investment ratios to assess the return. So ROCE is part, ROE is part, payback to know whether to do NPV, all right, whether the thing is good, NPV, IRR, all these things. The other side of this is for the business, but the shareholders too have some. You need to know how to calculate. You need to calculate TSR, which we call shareholder worth, total shareholder return. If you check our Telegram, that's the first thing I did, all right, in the FM part of our course. That is dividends plus a change in share price. This is the total, all right, shareholder worth. Then you also do uh, what we call the EVA, economic value added. Then CBA, cost benefit analysis. So this thing is more in man accounting. And so we will learn how to calculate all these things. All right. That is for the shareholder value analysis. These are for shareholders. This is entity specific. These are shareholders. Then lastly, we will look at the last R, which is their reaction. Their reaction. Stakeholder reaction. So how is the society feeling about it? That's where CSR people come in. All right. Will they, so the C, social, how would they react? Economic, how will your shareholders react after you have done the evaluation? And the environment, how is it affecting our environment? So that is it. So you see, this is the one for the what do we call it? The suitability. So the suitability of strategy. We have learned all these things. Pestel scenario, that is the sensitivity analysis. Porter's five forces. You remember? Strategic group, strategic resource and capability, value chain and cultural work. We have done all these things. Now, what this thing is going to do, so you analyze the key drivers, help you to understand. So you know your industry cycle, industry conversion, major environmental changes, you will see them. All right. We've done all these things. We've done all these things. The five forces, we've done it. All right. So how you interact. So everything that we've done, assessing value chain, we've done all those things. All right. So that is that. The culture, so that how you interlink different cultures. So these are some of the examples. These are some examples of suitability. Why this option might be suitable in terms of the macro, so you look at it. And in terms of the resources that they have, all right, so basically that is it. So we will look at some of these things in practice, all right, not really doing this. You remember this one? The DIY, do it yourself, ally, and MA, all right, so that is that. So you will look at all these things. Now, so you see the Carlsberg issue. You see how these things are analyzed. All right. So we will also do the same thing. You remember VRIO? You know it. All right. So the life cycle analysis, you know all those things, product life cycle and all those things. Now we come to acceptability. And I said that you do the risk, all right, sensitivity analysis, financial risk return, all right, all those and the payback, all right. So we will be doing all those things, all right. You know how to do a payback, right? Then EVA, then the cost benefit analysis. We will look at all those things, all right. So, and the real option, I call it the DEAR options, DEAR. So we look at it. It's part of investment appraiser at the higher level. All right. So basically that is that. We will look at those things. All right. Then the reaction. How will the owners react? How will your bank react? How will your regulators react? All right. So basically, that is that. That is that. So that is for acceptability. Acceptability. Then the last one is feasibility. Feasibility. Now, how is it feasible? Do you have money to do it? So remember, we've done these things. Feasibility. And feasibility of the options you are going to look at. We are going to look at the funding requirements. How much money would you need? Funding requirement. And the funding requirement, we will be looking at sources of capital. See, this is where the thing broadens up. You say you have seen something you want to do. What are your sources of the capital? Then cost of capital. As for those of us in class, we've done sources of capital, cost of capital, right? All right. Then you look at the business risk, systematic and unsystematic risk, so that you assess the feasibility. So that is that. That is that. These are things you look at. All right. So if you look at the question and it's a startup, it means funding requirement is high, as you can see. All right, as you can see. Will you be able to do it? Funding requirement is high for businesses that are startup, very high. Growth, very high. Maturity, you are already there, so you are about to. So you look at the life cycle phase of it. Cost of capital will also be very high. Yeah. So we'll be looking at all these things. All right. And these things are videos that are done. So check my FM playlist to have all these things. All right. Those of you who don't have it. So check it. All right. And the feasibility to another part that you also talk about is the people and the skills that you need. So this is the fun, the other aspect, but you also need the skills and resources. Do you have the skills for them to do, or you outsource? All right. So that is that. Will you train them? All right. And integrate. So the the whole thing that we have done is to evaluate the situation that you are going to be in. So to close it out, evaluation criteria, one, the four evaluation criteria that you can also do, all right, so that, ends up everything, is the conflicting conclusions of management judgment. So once you have gone through that, what are the conflicting in terms of the suitability and everything? What are their views on that? All right. So you check then the consistency between the different elements of a strategy. So remember the elements of the strategy, your mission, vision, and your strategic direction and the method. So the when we talk about the elements of strategy, we are talking about number one. You remember what we did in competitive strategy. It is under corporate strategy. No, it is under strategic options. The video of strategic options, competitive strategy, then choice, which is the direction, and the methods. I hope you remember that. The implementation and the development in practice. So these are, at the end of the day, what have we said? We said that you assess performance using economic and organizational effectiveness, and I've given you the models for it. Remember, so if you are looking at economic ratios, market share, financial market, you assess your gap, come and do organizational effectiveness as well before you do financial, economic, then organization, where we use the BAT rich, we use the balance scorecard, all right, and all those things that we've talked about. Then you assess your gap, you know what you now need. Then you analyze your option in the SAF evaluation model. So basically, that is what we have gone through now. So what we need to do is to pick up the case for real. and do that. So I'm going to do that using your pre-scene. All right. So, but I wanted you to get to this level. Now, when you finish this one and when you do your gap, you have to do some changes. That's why the uh, uh, leadership and change management comes in. Who are the people who are going to be involved in helping you change this course? All right. That is, so you look at your organization, your leadership, your strategy development. So we are going to take the pre-scene and I'll analyze the pre-scene in class, but that one may not be put on YouTube channel. All right. So that is that. So you can, if you have not joined the intervention yet, because I'm posting this video, this is the statement I have to make. If you have not joined it yet, you can join quickly. All right. So basically that is that. So anytime you are doing an intervention, I'll make you know, give you the prior information. Then you join. Our the prison is going to be analyzed now. Right now, we've done the whole concept of strategy. CS for us to put it in practice. Analyze the pre-scene. All right. When we analyze the pre-scene, then we wait for the on-scene. Then from the pre-scene, we will see some likely questions the examiner is going to bring, and then we complete it. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, all the best. All right, class, all the best. Thank you, and have a great day.